speaker, Marlo, who is graduating with a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology.
I have a confession to make. For weeks, I toiled over what to say for this. I talked about it with my friends, my parents, my coworkers. At one point, I even tried to crowdsource content. But when it got to be the night before the deadline, I came to the harsh realization that all I had were some generic phrases and chicken scratch. And I hated all of it. I opened up my computer and stared at a blank page. I don't think I can do this. I called the same friends who had listened to me go on for the last several weeks. I don't think I can do this. I think I need to withdraw. As I stared at the empty screen in front of me, many gave the same advice. You can do it. Just think, what do you want to say to everyone? This only made it worse. I didn't sleep last night. I'm too tired. I can't do this. I made a mistake. But here's the thing. I didn't make a mistake. I knew I wanted to be standing here. But what was I going to say? What would be interesting enough or different enough? What did I want my grandma to hear after I didn't even go to my undergrad graduation? This would be big. I wanted it to matter. And I was scared that it wouldn't. But here's the problem with trying to come up with a flavor that 5,000 people are going to like. You'll end up with water. And so to keep this speech from being a watered-down version of what I think everyone wants to hear, I'm going to speak my truth to you today. There were many times over the last 2 years I did not feel good enough, whether that was in my classes, having known very little about organizational psychology, at my internship, or even in my personal relationships. I saw this self-doubt as something I had to overcome, but I would never be able to live freely or happily as long as I carried it with me. But that simply isn't true. Last year, I read a book by Steven Pressfield, an advocate for creativity and overcoming the type of resistance that always follows the moment one decides to pursue their passion. To paraphrase, fear is good. Fear tells us what we have to do. The more scared we are of a work or calling, the more certain we can be that we have to do it. Steve was on something. Because when we encounter a new challenge or opportunity that ignites something deep within us, that's terrifying. The stakes are high. It matters so much. We question our excitement. We question our ability to do our work in this world. So I ask you, when you were wrapping up your application to come here, where were you? Where were you when you clicked submit? And I don't mean what room in the house or what Starbucks you were in, but where was your mind? Despite working long hours in a career I wasn't in love with, feeling intellectually stagnant and creatively stifled, I still doubted whether clicking submit was the right thing to do. After being out of school for 2 years and swearing I would never go back, maybe I can't do this. Don't get me wrong, I had a brief moment of relief. It's out of my hands. They want me or they don't. But let a couple days go by, not actually knowing if you'll be renewing your lease or finding a new job. And let's not even talk about making new friends. And all of a sudden, that same relief is now complete terror. And instead, they want me, or they don't. Turns into, well, what if they don't? The good news is, we're all here because they did. But I would bet that at one point, most of us weren't sure if we were making the right decision. Most of us weren't sure if we were good enough. Self-doubt marks the edge of our comfort zone. It's the caution tape that keeps us safe. It keeps us doing what we've always done. But it also keeps us unfulfilled. By its very nature, self-doubt comes from within. My challenge to you is not to view your self-doubt as a barrier you need to cross or resistance that you need to overcome, but as a sign telling you what you have to do. Because we can't grow, we can't learn, we can't click submit or write a speech for 5,000 people if we're resisting the signs, if we're getting in our own way. Let fear guide you. Call upon the friends you made here. If you are lucky enough to be moving into post-grad life with less ambiguity, I promise you, at some point, just as before, your future will be unclear. You will ask yourself, am I good enough? You will say, I can't do this. And then you will.